Why should I want to walk away from a party I've been a member of for best part of 50 years?
You don't agree with
just because? Oh, sorry, the policies change. One side, at some stage, one side is on top, and another stage, another side is on top.
Well, yeah, exactly. And now the other side is on top.
Sorry,
you're kvetching about it.
I've fought my corner, and I would argue quite successfully. As opposed to those from the SDP who walked away from it, I fought my corner in the party, and opinion in the party turned round, and we won that, and the electorate followed that. I'm not for these people who are on the fringe and were in the Socialist Workers' Party and now on the right of politics. As you know, Peter, I've stood for the same position all the way through.
Yes, I know you have, and here you are, and you belong to a party which became Blairite. And Blairism has gone now. The Blairite party in this country now is the Tory party. And you and the rest of the people in the Labour Party have been left behind by that and now sit in a party which is led by somebody like Jeremy Corbyn and are still Blairites. Have a choice. Either you sit there and moan or you go and join the proper Blairite party, which is the Tory party, where you plainly belong.
Particularly, you sound like a member of Momentum when you make that sort of case.
You're using member of Momentum as an insult. These are actually people who've joined your own party. So maybe
from the Greens and from the Socialist Workers and from the Alliance for Workers' Liberty and all other Trotskyists.
Talk about them with disdain.
Hold on, you two of you can talk.
I can very easily because we have been on that route. Interestingly enough, Bite Back Publications have just republished John Golding's book, which outlines those battles before, and winning those battles inside the party was crucial.
The PLP at some point has to stop talking about the membership of the party with this scorn and disdain. Whatever you think of them, they are your party. So you either make your peace with them or you leave. You cannot come on television and talk about them as though they're lunatics.
First of all, I do not see how under a first-past-the-post electoral system, which we must abolish and replace with proportional representation, in my view, how any new party could come into being. So that isn't going to happen. Well, and secondly, for there to be a split, it requires people like me to walk off. I've been a member. I've worked hard to get Labour governments elected, implementing things like the National Minimum Wage, the Human Rights Act, civil partnerships, and the rest, in the face of people who are campaigning against us to stop us doing that for almost 20 years. I am not walking off from my party at the instruction of people who have just joined in the last 2 minutes and start thinking somehow no longer can the Labour Party be a broad church, which is what its strength is.
Right. I mean, and comments by Len McCluskey saying that people like Chuka, I presume he's talking about Chuka Umunna and other colleagues who have similar views to him, of bullying and bludgeoning the Labour Party, of them being a lynch mob. Is this the sort of language you think that will unite the party? Well, I think you need to talk to Len McCluskey But what do you think? Do you agree with Len McCluskey?
I've been a member of the Labour Party twice as long as Chuka has been, and I've seen the branches be invigorated. There are now twice as many people active in my branch Labour Party, coming to the meetings, doing all the work, going out on the doorstep. There's been a lot of talk of entryism. As far as I can see, it's returnerism, which is probably not a word, but people left over the Iraq War and
heckling and intimidation that we haven't seen in the Labour Party for a very long time. And I say to Len McCluskey,
I think we're seeing
part of the issue that
one of the major things about saving the party is saving the democratic processes of that party. But you can't suddenly throw them in the air because you don't like the leader, because if you throw away the democratic process, you've also thrown away the party.
Although, I mean, the members are incredibly important, but the Labour Party is a union between the members and the people who are elected to Parliament by their constituents, the public, and MPs do lots of good work in Parliament. We've talked a lot about that over the last 3 weeks, particularly in the light of Joe Cox. So the members are important, but the Labour Party is not just a pressure group. We have got to think about the next general election. We've got to think about winning seats, not just stacking up a share of the votes.
It's really starting to grate the implication that the people who support Corbyn are not interested in winning elections. Of course we're interested in elections. Of course we're interested in power. That's what we're in it for. We want to see progressive change. We want an anti-austerity platform. Now, we might disagree about the mechanisms, but there is a process. There is a democratic process the party has.
You're very, very tough on Jeremy Corbyn in this book, and pretty tough on Ed Miliband as well. Indeed, you yoke them together in one sentence as kind of left-wingers who thought the Labour Party could win by being further and further to the left. Wasn't the great mistake from the point of view of people in your position, the £3 membership and changing the rules to allow the Labour Party this huge new left-wing membership. That was on your watch and on Ed Miliband's watch, and that has changed the Labour Party and, in the view of some Labour moderates, destroyed the Labour Party.
Well, the great irony is that the pressure for the £3 membership and to have supporters wasn't coming from the left. It was actually coming from the right. It was supporters of Tony Blair who thought those people who wouldn't want to join a party but would support would shift things towards the centre ground. And actually, that reform was backed by people who supported Ed Miliband and supported David Miliband. In retrospect, it was a catastrophic mistake, definitely.
The law of unexpected consequences. Did you argue against it at the time? Did you see it coming?
I said to Ed that I was very worried about these changes, but frankly, a process had gone on which people like me were not involved in. We were told that actually this was necessary. I didn't foresee how bad it would be, but I knew enough about Labour history to be worried, and the outcome has been much worse than I expected.
I did. I said to Jeremy, he came up and said, thanks for encouraging people to put me on the list, John. And I said, yes, I think you should be. It's a party decision now, not MPs. It's the parties make the decision. Let them have as wide a choice as possible.